All right. Well, I don't know if that worked or not. I guess we'll have to see.
That intro was cool.
Did it play for you guys outright? It didn't have any stutters or skips?
It had a lot of skips.
They had a lot of skips and stutters in
then
it.
Yeah, I will have to completely recut that. That plays on our YouTube video before we start. So,
oh, cool. Are you doing a YouTube then? Or is it's not on there yet, right?
It is. I'll send you guys a link to it right now. I've just been putting it to my current podcast, or excuse me, my current video channel for me and my yellow JK, and just because I wanted to leverage the fact that account is so old at this point.
Yeah.
So I might just change the branding on it. We'll see. We'll decide that as a group. But for right now, I'm putting them in there. YouTube just launched a YouTube podcast thing too, so I got to see how that might play out for us, because we might be able to just post the video there and have it propagate every place else.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah, anything to make it easy for me, because as I told you guys in chat, I actually, my Jeep, it's gonna live. I'm so excited.
Oh, awesome.
So
I just thinking I needed those little buttons to do that stuff.
Yeah, I know, it's so stupid. I don't know if I should do that or not.
Cool.
I know it's pretty kitschy, but I'm here for it. So it's.
Do you have one?
I actually got one for you. Yes, the only thing I haven't added yet is your name specifically, and we need to do that for you. So
that'll be cool.
But
I'm going to read the news. Did I tell you that?
Oh, you're going to read the news? That's funny.
It's just like high school. I told him.
Yeah,
you should put me on the chat, because I don't know anything that's going on. I just come in here blindly.
Yes. I'll put your account in the chat. Yes, that makes sense to me. I don't know why I didn't think about doing that before. Remind me.
I'm always asking him questions, and he's like, didn't
you hear? Didn't you know that? Yeah.
Didn't you know? It's funny because people forget or don't realize that it's only me on the account on Instagram. And so then Randy doesn't necessarily know a lot of the stuff. Like, people send me messages and stuff, and if I remember to tell Randy, I hope I do. But,
I keep trying to get Jen control of mine, so I don't have to do it. Yeah.
I don't do the account. I'm just here for it. Like, it's kind of shocking to me that it does as well as it does. I'm kind of like, I kind of like being separated from it, and then once I know you, then I follow you on my private account. My private account's just like me and my dog, and like a few Jeep things here, and then my hair stuff. Like, I don't take it very seriously. He's really good at it, and I'm cool with that. I give him opinions. Believe me, I'm our biggest critic, but I'm just as shocked as everybody else when you see what's on our page, because I'm following it just like you are.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst is when I'm like, oh, I'm on fire, and Randy's like, what in the hell have you been posting?
What did you do? I didn't like that at all. You can't, like, he'll try to do like girl power things sometimes, and I'm like, ew. Like,
you should run that through your white filter on that. Yeah, every time before you post it.
I'm like, that's not me at all. I'm like, why would you post that? That's not my personality. And he's like, well, it's kind of funny. And like, I'm like, but it's kind of bitchy. Like, I'm not bitchy.
you gotta change the tone of it just a little bit. Like, I get on board with the, whatever's going around. I think I posted the other day for, it's a men's mental health month somewhere. I know someone will get into this argument with me because it's not a men's mental health month where they are. But I'll get on that bandwagon once in a while, and you kind of gotta write the standard company lines about how everything be kosher.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just funny because I'll be like, that was boring. Like, I'm her biggest critic. Like, if anybody wants to know, I'm her biggest critic. I'm like, that was a boring reel. Why did you post it like that? And I give him so much criticism. So if you have a criticism about our page, I do too.
No, it's okay. I need that. Because I think Jen is too nice about my stuff. So I'm going to have you go through my feed, and I'm just going to let you just tell me what sucks and what doesn't, because I don't get any kind of feedback about that.
Sometimes I think he wishes that I'd just shut up.
I mean,
my favorite is when you don't see this on camera, but when we're starting to talk about stuff, she'll start tapping me like, shut up.
Oh, I see it. I'm watching in the corner of my eye. I can see her underneath. You're moving still. It's still a movement. I know, and I know the movement. Yep.
Stop.
Well, when he just goes on and on and on, I'm like, okay, shh.
It should be interesting because I think I've got Jen joining us for next week. I think I'm finally going to get her to come on. And it's
what was her handle again?
Jen's.
Yeah. Oh, your wife, Jen.
Your wife.
My wife, Jen. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's going to join
me.
That's
exciting.
I'm trying to get her. I told her, I'm like, look, we're going to be, talking with Tara, with Jeep her and all that. Like, I'd love just come on down. You just sit here if you just really want to talk much. So, so hopefully she'll be joining us. I'm interested to see if I get that under the table, like stop talking so much, because I know she listens to a lot of the sound bites, but I'm betting she doesn't listen to the whole thing. And if she doesn't come and tell me that she heard this part of it, I know that she hasn't listened to the whole thing. So, but yeah, awesome. So I don't even know who was here last time. It's been a while. I feel like it's been a bit. We had Ben here last time, and that was the last episode that aired. By the time this one airs, the 2 Sand Hollow episodes will finally hit the air with cool. Some sort of a semblance of order to them. So that's nice for that. And Sand Hollow 4x4 was nice enough to join us for that. So that's awesome. They were great. We'll have them back. And as we get this guest host thing and all that kind of stuff kind of worked out, maybe have them back as a guest host and less of a kind of talking about their business.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
They're fun, and you'll love TJ. He's awesome.
Yeah, if you can get TJ to join as a guest host, it'll be fun.
He just needs to not be in a recovery when she schedules that. So
exactly right.
Yep.
So let's see here. What else we got? Spotlight on the anti-OHV company. I still want to keep doing this. I know Ben's like probably spend too much time talking about it, but on the other hand, I also hate seeing these logos out and about. The North Face, another one. Any of these groups that donate to these giant conservation funds, if you start digging into what they think, it's usually just let's keep going, let's keep clamping it down. I'm going to stick with telling people just check your Instagram feed, guys. If you go out there, like I guarantee you have a bunch of folks in your Instagram feed who are trying to start a small business around their Jeeps and around off-roading. Get your gear from them. We're not going to the North Face. I have like 3 people that I follow on Instagram that actually drive on ice with their Jeeps. Those are the guys that need that polar stuff. The rest of us just need a good hoodie. So,
you ever tried driving on ice?
Well, I live in Utah.
Oh yeah, we're good at it.
I mean, there is
not
that.
Quite that.
I grew I
know what you're talking about. It's the lake. They make the coolest videos. But yeah, we're just like we know how to do that.
Like I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, northern Utah. Of course, I've seen a couple snowstorms. Just a few. Just a couple.
Well, there's something different about the weather out west. Like I mean, I grew up in Chicago, so I can't, for lack of a better phrase, the weather is as flat as the land. So the clouds are flat, the storms are flat, and it's really cool when you're standing on like the lake shore and you see the storms coming in off the lake towards Navy Pier. All that stuff is awesome. But we moved out here, and every single day is a whole storm. It's just one storm coming through here it's ridiculous, and I've never seen anything like it. And like going out in the west, I was out in Utah when I saw some of that stuff, and I was like, oh, those storms are epic. And I also need to get out of this wash. So
he needed to get out of the wash today too.
Well,
his problem. That's what his problem was. So let's go ahead and chat about that. What happened today? Do we want to talk about a little we're having PTSD. It was only a few hours ago, so like that's where
okay. It's fresh. It's fresh.
Why,
you can come back to this later.
Fun to talk about. I can't wait to post the videos. They're going to get 1 billion views.
I mean, here's the thing. I saw somebody hydrolock their Jeep today or yesterday, and they posted the video, and it had like 200 likes within a few minutes, and I'm like, I
need to see what that actually looks like. We're not sure what the status of my motor is, but let me tell you what happened.
My perspective of what happened.
Yeah.
Story time with folk, guys.
So we are wheeling. We just finished a really fun trail called Sidewinder. It's a big, I would say it's a 7, 6, 7.
It's a good 6.
If you're a good driver, it's a 6. If you're
okay,
because you don't necessarily need front lockers, but oh my gosh, they sure help.
Our friend Joe today did not have front lockers and she kicked its ass. Anyway.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so we did that trail. We did an optional line that no one knows about that is even sketchier than the original trail. And we get off of that and we're back down on an easy trail called Rattlesnake. And we would rate Rattlesnake a 4 in 3 or 4.
4 is really generous.
4 is generous for us. Like in Trails off-road ratings, it's probably a 3, right?
Okay.
It's mostly a dirt road. There's some ruts.
It's a rock garden too. There's a rock garden.
Make it hard. But yeah, you can do it with a stock Jeep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's optional areas that you can do. And so we go around this little area and I watch the first 2 Jeeps in front of me as our friend Ryan and Randy is in front of me. And our friend Ryan almost dumps it. And I'm like, I don't like that line. And then Randy like takes a slightly different line and she pulls the tire real high. I'm like, well, I sure don't like that line either. So I'm thinking, I look at this ledge and I'm like, oh, this ledge will be perfect. I'll just drop my front tire down. And the problem is that my tires only flex 48 inches.
Not 4 feet. Like, I don't know.
And the hole is like 5 feet. It might have been like 52 inches. It's just enough that I dropped my front tire down, and then like my steering got kind of ripped out of my hand a little bit, and I tried to get out of the back, and I tried to gas out of it, and then I what really was the mistake that caused me to tip all the way over, I think, is when I hit my brake at the end, trying to like get control.
You tried to gas out of it too, and you could have done a lot of different.
I could have done a lot of different things on it.
It was not really expected. Like that area is. Like sandy.
That area of trail
really
is not supposed to be washed out like that.
And
like,
it's.
And I've been over this spot several times, and so it was not bad, not that scary. Are you showing the video I sent you?
I'm going to pull it up so we can have it here if I want to add it later.
Yeah, you can have it. Yeah, it'll be good to have it so you can show it. So it was a scary thing. But what happened is I start falling over. And at first I'm like, oh shit, I'll just kind of like gas out of it and kind of steer passenger and I'll be fine. And, yeah. And you can't even see, there's like a big 3-foot gap underneath me between there and the ground.
Oh, I can kind of see it. Like yeah, that's a hell of a washout too.
Yeah, it's a hell of a washout.
It's like a washout that's been growing this whole year.
Yeah, like it wasn't that bad before. From where I was, and this is going to kind of fit in with our theme of our episode today with gear. From where I was, it looked like a ramp.
It did. It looked like a ramp because I watched Ryan do it. Like I was sitting there and I watched Ryan do it, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks a little sketch." I'm like, "I'm going to go a little higher." So I came up higher, so I was farther up onto the thing. But then my back tire went into like a 4-foot hole and I picked a tire, came back down. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't like either of those things.
Yeah, I tried my own line.
I even looked at it and I was like, well, it looks like it looks rampy there. Maybe I just come down and then come back up. And he literally took the line. I mean, I know exactly what his thought process was on the whole entire thing. It was just super washed out.
She almost took that line.
I almost took that line and almost did the exact same thing. And it was just kind of like, but the problem is it was like a rampy thing, but on the other side, there was like a lip and then it dropped down about 5 feet. Yeah. So your back tire, if it gets into that hole, and we both got into that hole, but we were up a little bit higher, so it was just the back tire, and then it dipped and then came over. But he like decided to take it down. And honestly, like what happened is I hear all of a sudden on the radio, "Get Dottie." And I was like, what? And I look back and I see the bottom of his Jeep. I had no idea like what had happened. I didn't even see it.
Was it a nice slow roll? I take it wasn't.
It was a nice slow roll. It was enough that the dog had enough time to think about how to escape.
And she just jumped out the window.
Yeah, she just jumped out the window.
You hear all the stories about like dogs just jetting, and so I jumped out of the car and I was more worried about the dog, and I like ran after the dog, and she
like,
saw me.
I'm like, someone get the dog, someone get the dog. That's all I cared about.
Yeah, all he cared about was the dog.
No,
and like,
I wouldn't tell anyone how I was until I knew what my dog was.
Yeah, like I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Where's Dottie?" And I'm like, "I got her." And he's like, "Where's Dottie?" He just kept like saying that over and over again. I'm like, "Tell me you're okay."
You please just like that. There's the adrenaline starts pumping real hard.
It was going pretty crazy, and then.
But once I knew the dog was fine, I was able to kind of relax because I knew I was fine. Like there was nothing. Like I didn't have any rough jerks or anything. The only thing that was uncomfortable is my head was sitting against the ceiling.
Did you what? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, this is his first rollover, so we're like, and I didn't know how I would respond.
Yeah, because I've been on my side-ish.
Yeah.
But it's never been like all the way over to where damage happens.
Well, and we weren't expecting it right there. Like, this is like a level 4 trail. Like, this isn't something that...
Well, I mean, it does hurt. It probably hurts your feelings a little bit in that video where you see the other Jeeps just easily passing by the vehicle that is upside down. Yeah. How much roof damage did you take?
My passenger side freedom top is destroyed.
Yeah.
Ouch.
There's a big scratch on the rear panel on the rear top.
We can buff that. We'll buff out.
We can sand that and spray paint it. It'll be fine.
If you want a yellow freedom panel, I've got one. I don't use it.
Actually, on the trail, some nice guy is like, "Hey, just give me a call this week. I'm selling my freedom panels. I'll sell them to you for really cheap."
There you go, man. See,
done.
And so, like, okay, I'm like, so one of the damages is already really fixed in my mind. So it's basically the passenger door. I sent you the pictures.
Yeah. I can't pull them up for some reason in the browser. So
yeah, but the passenger pictures were like, or the passenger door has like an actual tear in it from a rock.
Yeah, it has to be completely.
So that thing's gonna have to be completely replaced. The mirror obviously was destroyed, but I broke the mirror 2 weeks ago in Sand Hollow. So
yeah, and we duct taped it together.
It was duct taped together.
It's completely obliterated. It's done.
Yeah, I was like,
but at least you didn't buy a new mirror, right? And then have another obliterated mirror.
Exactly.
Yeah, and at least I didn't waste the time epoxying it back together.
But you know what? The strongest part of its whole entire thing was all the Motobuilt stuff. Like his Motobuilt fender, like it, like literally has a scratch.
It has a scratch.
It does not
the powder coat
it literally because he was kind of in a V, like from a different angle. If you could see it, there's a lot of air underneath there, and he's just sitting on his fender, and it doesn't have a dent.
Yeah, the bob bed took no damage.
The bob bed took no damage. It was all...
I'm like, why can't I coat the rest of my Jeep in armor? Like, everything that didn't have armor took damage. My windshield was completely cracked. The light bar mount might need to be replaced, but the light bar mount bent into the windshield. But I think it saved the frame of the windshield.
Yeah, so. Our light bar mount completely saved the... And it was on it. Like,
all the
whole front weight was on it, on top of it.
So the gear, like if you have a light bar mount that basically covers the entire A-pillar, if you will.
That's going to save your ass.
That's going to save your windshield in the event like this, most likely, unless it takes a lot of damage and bends itself. This was a slow rollover, so where a lot of the damage happened is actually during the recovery.
Yeah.
If they could have
you're trying to pull it up off the rock.
You were stuck so wedged in there that like there was no options. We had two winches and then I was bumping him out with my car. Like it was like not there was no options because he was like wedged in.
Yep.
Yeah, that
and
makes
so
sense to me.
It was kind of like a whole once we got him upright, it took us another 20 minutes to get him out of the hole.
It took him 2 inches to get me upright, but then it like took 2 inches and a tow rope to get me out of the hole
because he was so wedged
and
in
I couldn't
there.
Steer because I have hydro assist and I couldn't start the motor.
Yeah, we didn't want to start the motor because he had lost so much oil.
Yeah, it was just leaking oil out of the top.
Like crazy. And I'm like, he was upside down for at least 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah. But it wouldn't have any spark at all. Like, and I think that, so I don't know what the motor's situation is going to be, but it's going to be sitting overnight at the shop, and then tomorrow morning the shop will take a look at it. I already texted the manager, and the guy that works on my Jeep the most actually saw it on the Instagram already. He's like, "Hey, you can't park there." Chancel
he just has you on his Instagrams because he knows he's got business coming. That's why.
Yeah, well, and the thing is this shop, it's Impulse Off-Road. They have developed a relationship with us already. We've just been going there for a short time. But Chance is like following us, and he's been following us for a long time. So he's super stoked to have our Jeeps in their shop. And I am like, awesome. Wait till you see the damage tomorrow, man.
Yeah. And you're going to make a name for yourself, right?
Yeah. really most of the damage is kind of what you would consider. It's cosmetic, obviously, but it's also considered bolt-on. Like the door, it's kind of like it's a bolt-on. Like if I can find one, I'll buy one. But I'm probably.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. It's just in the sense of like it was the first time.
And the roof I've already taken care of. The mirror is an interesting thing because, like, I used to have before I got the bot bed, I used to have the what are the blind spot detectors. Boy, I wish I still had those.
Yeah, you probably should still have those. Like, there's some technology out there that I think is worthwhile, and that's one of them.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones, and I wish I still had those, but but I don't have those anymore. So the little thing on the mirrors are pointless. So I can actually downgrade the mirror one level.
Yeah,
and when I replace it, so it'll be way cheaper than the one that would have been there. So I'm not like there's a couple of dents and I'm kind of thinking, okay, so what do I do with this thing? It's so I'm gonna wrap it probably or something like that. I don't think I'm gonna have it
put an armor Motobuild. Just do a whole entire body.
I mean, she's not wrong. Like I saw the damage, and I feel like if they don't have parts that could cover that, they should make parts for you that cover that, and then market them as extra armor.
It's
like this will help you poke-proof your vehicle.
I mean, seriously, like so you have the caged versions of Jeeps, right? Like the ones that have the massive cages inside. Well, you want an exoskeleton. That's what you're looking for, and I'm for that. I'm 100% here for it.
Yeah, but it has to look stylish. Like the way that the most light bar brackets, they fit over the cowl. They move right up the line of the body. So if you could do that to the whole door or something.
I mean, it's just steel, right? It's just shape and steel. So all you got to do is get it to look right. Yep.
No,
that's
but
amazing.
One of the things
glad everybody's
that
okay.
Yeah, everyone is fine.
Everything's good.
I didn't even what's really interesting about this, and I think it kind of says a lot about our community. Everyone just stayed really
cool.
calm.
Everyone was calm.
Even me in the car, once I knew Dottie was fine, I wasn't even that not calm. I just wanted to know where my dog was and wanted to know she wasn't hurt.
That was the only thing.
And then I figured out what was going on with her, and I'm like, shit, we shouldn't take our dogs on the trail no more. We never know when we're going to be doing sketchy stuff.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for kennels at certain times, or just getting out. Getting out with the person who's getting out for sketchy stuff. Like Jen hates
but it wasn't sketchy.
Stuff.
That's the thing.
It wasn't supposed to be sketchy.
This whole thing is this was not an area that should have been an issue.
Yeah, one of our friends he told us that he almost rolled there last weekend, the last time he was over there, and it's just it's something that. I loved we do this little ravine on the backside, and it's like a V-notch that goes around the side of a mountain. It's so fun. And then you get over to the end of it, and then it starts getting like, okay, where should I go now? Because this all looks stupid.
But we like a little.
I don't like any of this.
We like a little bit of stupid, but this one was the first real flop of the Misfit. And we'll have a follow-up next episode, and we'll talk about what happened with it, or whatever order they air in. But
exactly. And, we'll be fine. We'll get into a regular order here. That was just because we had issues with that particular episode.
It's no problem. I'm just saying at some point. I think it'll be the next episode. We'll tell you what the result is. I let my mechanic know, don't try to start it till you guys pull the plugs.
Well, we'll get the guys on from Moto-Built for you too. We'll plug the guys and have them come on, and we can get them to we'll push them on the armor piece.
Yeah, because that armor is.
I've been armor Aaron. If we should bring Aaron on here.
We should bring Aaron on. That'd be fun.
Aaron online.
Why not? Yeah.
Text message. I like to torture Aaron. He's one of my favorite human beings.
Yeah.
I love Aaron, and I mean. We love the whole Moto-Built people. That's why we support them.
Yeah,
they're just good people, and they're like.
It all started in this is episode we're talking about gear, right?
Yeah. We can dig right into it, man. Go for it.
Yeah, and so we can dig right into some of the gear. I sent you a couple things that we should talk about later, but one of the things that is really important if you're trying to make your Jeep so you can go off road, armor, 100% armor.
Yeah.
Don't go out there. I mean, you can go out there with your plastic bumpers and plastic fenders, but the chances of the plastic fender obliterating itself, and then you're getting your rock into your hood is really high.
Yeah.
And so
we learn that quick.
And so, like the plastic bumpers aren't really made for doing rock crawling. They're actually designed for you to probably pull it off and replace it with something later. They think that's what you're going to do. It's probably true.
And so I've run into that now with the JK, because the biggest problem, the reason it's there is because I hit a large rock.
Right.
And I had not made any, because of the Mopar warranty that I had, I really had avoided doing a whole lot of upgrades to anything that didn't need it, other than a lift and some tires and things like that.
Things that they're not going to avoid your warranty for, because everybody does it anyway.
Well, and yeah, they within limits, they leave you alone. I think it's up to a 3-inch lift or something else or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also got some clarification for them so that I'm good to go when we start swapping out some of these components. And one of the big discussion items that Matt in GarageWorks that I've had with him is probably really want to look at adding some armor to keep this kind of thing from happening again. Like, I lucked out. Like, I went 130,000 miles before having a situation like that. How many miles did you put on before you had today?
24.
Okay. But I mean, admittedly,
these kind of questions for us. Like we
I don't even know if it's quite that high.
Avoiding warranties, like we are.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
avoiding warranties.
So I literally took the Gladiator to the dealership once after the Bob bed, and I was trying to explain to him about how I had the lockers set up, and I used the taser to turn off the lockers, but it was still having a service 4-wheel drive light. And there was no problem with 4-wheel drive because the car doesn't know what's going on with 4-wheel drive anymore.
It doesn't have legs anymore compared to in the computer's eyes.
Yeah. Well, they don't understand it, so they don't want to work on it.
Yeah, but they were kind enough to at least tell me, okay, the code is your locker. Yeah, that's actually 20% off until the end of the month, but I don't know when this will air.
Yeah,
but that thing is made of. So there's 2 versions of that. There's a steel one and an aluminum one. And I don't know how strong the aluminum one. I can't speak for it. They didn't beat it up with a baseball bat like I asked them to. And like Dan said, I'm not doing that again. I hurt myself, because he did it to the steel one.
And they don't cover that under the employee plan.
No, it's not under their health plan. But that steel Bob bed is something else, man. It is.
I mean, he was resting on it today.
It was resting on it.
He was literally, it was the 2 things that saved his entire Jeep was the fenders in the front and his Bob bed. Those were the things that everything was most of the weight was on. And then you had the Freedom panels, but Freedom panels you can get. I'm sure you can go on.
Yeah.
Freedom panels don't survive this.
It doesn't. Right. But
Freedom panels don't survive much.
He literally, we did have to deal with the windshield, right? We had to deal with the windshield. That sucks. But, literally all the armor on our Jeep basically kept
most of the
really crappy situation not so bad, and everything's cosmetic.
Yeah, everything's cosmetic. The door is the worst of it. I guess there's a dent in the hood, but I'm 99% sure they can pop that guy back out and it'll be fine. So it's just it does open up opportunities. Let's see what else I should buy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that is the problem, right? You start down the path, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I need that too, and if I'm going to need that too.
Randy keeps on putting out in the universe that I need a new motor, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I can't afford a Hemi yet.
Aren't those hood vents are so cool?
Yeah, so we just picked those up for our Jeeps.
You know what? I saw these. Cool. Yeah, I was looking at. I was looking for fender something for the JK, and I was just like, those look really cool. I wish they had. I haven't gone through their whole site yet. I'm still waiting.
Jeff's gonna have a rainbow. I'm gonna do black, and then I'm gonna do the rainbow lining. It's gonna be cute.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that's on sale here, guys. Yeah, and this should air before Black Friday, so we should be good.
Yeah. No, this is their Black Friday deal, and it's I think until after Black Friday.
Yeah, 30% off on.
There's up to 40%. There's some things that are 40% off, 30% off.
The Bob beds are 20% off right now.
So everything's really good.
And that's a big cut. That's
huge,
it's
especially
only
when you're looking at
$5,300.
the price of some of these things.
Yeah. And we like these guys a lot because the first time I got a bumper from Motobuilt for Randy's Jeep, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This thing is so nice. It's so thick. It's perfect shape."
Yeah.
And so they look
amazing.
invincible.
Yeah.
They take all the hits. Like you can do whatever you need to on any of their armor.
Nice.
Yeah. I have those Highland fenders.
One piece of gear that we believe in is Motobuilt, and we bought everything. Like we bought everything before we were working with them. We bought a lot of things. We bought his bed. We bought bumpers. We bought we paid full price for absolutely everything. Everything up on our Jeeps until we started really working closely with them. And now we get a discount, but we get a discount but the only reason we decided to even go with them is because it was a genuine relationship. We like the people that are there, and we like the gear. It is absolutely
they're a blast to wheel with. Like Bobby,
they're so fun.
Bobby is Bobby is hilarious. Bobby Cox. I bought his T-shirt.
It says, "I am Bobby Cox." I'm really excited for his T-shirt.
Bobby
Cox. He's got branding. That is branding. Come on.
It's the Bobby Cox.
He might be better at branding than I am. I think.
Come
really
on.
Good at it.
I can't. I felt so special because we're getting stickers and stuff. I can't compete with that.
I'm so excited about the stickers. I can't wait.
So. Update for you and update for those of you listening. We did order our first edition stickers and our second edition stickers. The second edition stickers will have a QR slap, so you might just see those around. And then the other ones they're all collectible though, because we're putting we're going to mark all of these and make them fun for everyone.
And I'm going to have a pile of them with me at Winter 4x4. So if you guys,
I ordered 4,000 of them, so you should have plenty.
Yeah, if you guys are looking for some stickers. Support our podcast, support Gem and the Misfit, support JD, support Lily and Jason and other Jason.
Another Jason.
Ruby Red Jeep. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he had to work again. He's busy. For those of you who don't know, he's a New York cop, so sometimes he gets called out and doesn't make the recording.
But we love him anyway.
We do. See, this is the other thing that you had on your list for this year.
Oh my gosh. Today was amazing. Gem is the first time. So since I've had my build, Gem has been really finicky, and I've been having a lot of issues with my 60s and all kinds of stuff. And I put anti-rocks on, and honestly, today was the first time. So when we were in Sand Hollow, there was a couple of obstacles that I went on, and I couldn't feel my front tires because of my sway bar situation. And this was my first today. He might have had a hard day, but Gem was a rock star. She was sexy. She just felt good, and I could feel her. And I would say definitely anti-rock. I was really impressed by what she felt like. She felt great today. But I think that was Impulse doing a bunch of stuff to her, and then also my anti-rocks. That was awesome. Today was good. Today was a good. Gem felt great today. Even if she picked a tire in the spot that he was.
To be clear, we do not have any relationship with Anti-Rock. None whatsoever.
So shocked at finally the right sway bar situation. We've tried a lot of different things, and it's just, this was night and day different on the trail. Being able to feel I had that control. I might not need the back like I thought I did, but today I had so much control. I can always take the back ones off. I really like the front, and I just felt like I could feel my tires again, and it was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
A good sways are awesome. I have the e-lockers because it's the Rubicon, and I'll probably keep those for now. But if they ever stop covering those under my warranty because of my suspension work, this is what I'm replacing it with.
Yeah. It's awesome. I would recommend, I didn't lose that much travel. I have travel for days on my whole suspension and all my stuff. I didn't feel like I lost that much, and I actually felt like I had control instead of so much.
Yeah.
So
it just the difference is they are actually working the whole time you're using them, right?
Right.
And so when you disconnect your factory sway bars, in the middle, it's just kind of free flowing no more. It's not doing any tension. And so you're literally like, whatever would be, if you actually physically disconnected it, it's the same effect on the factory sway bar. There's nothing happening anymore. And what some people think is the con of the anti-rocks is that you still have a sway bar, it's still doing something. It's still limiting your travel. It's still kind of, and it's actually not bad that it's doing that, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, you can be
you're doing an RPI ramp and you're trying to be cool or something. You don't need
when you're trying to
travel.
hit a record, exactly.
When you're off camber situations, my hood stays level more than someone who doesn't have this setup. And when you are off camber, you don't have to worry about whether or not you're tipping over because you can feel what your tires are doing, and that's one of my favorite parts of it.
It's for me, it kind of feels, it's like a safety thing. Like, this is probably as far as you should go. You really shouldn't push yourself any further than this. If you're going to do that, then build the buggy to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And buggies have these too. Ultra 4 cars run these. Yeah, I mean, it's race-proven equipment. When you watch King of the Hammers, almost every single vehicle, whether they have IFS or not, is going to have an anti-rock.
Those guys need extreme travel, but they're also going really fast. They need they need that constant tension of some kind.
They do, yeah, exactly. So it's a great investment for your Jeep if you're doing like a hybrid of rock crawling and you're doing you still drive it on the street. I actually just think it's really, even if you don't drive it on the street for my JT, at least having it in front. I don't have one in the back, but I have it in the front, and it makes a world of difference. But not having it in the back is why I think I have so much travel.
And are you going to get it for the back now?
I'm not. I'm going to keep it how it is for the time being. I'm going to wheel it for probably a year like this, and then I'll see what I'm going to do after that.
That's probably good. Take a nice stepped approach to it, because you don't want to do too many changes too fast.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like the Bob bed was a huge game changer at the beginning of the year. The coilovers and suspension was a big game changer. And I did the anti-rock at the same time. So the way the Jeep feels when I'm off-road and I'm doing these rock gardening things or crazy rock climbing in Sand Hollow, it feels stable. And two of us did the same obstacle on Milton Mile. We were driving backwards down Milton Mile. And on the way out, you kind of hit this one spot. It was really kind of sketchy as you're going out. You're really off camber. Well, I wasn't off camber. My hood was level as I drove over this thing. But Randi thought that she's going to tip over. She told her passenger to get out. And then she thought she was going to die. She like waited for a spotter. And Aaron's just like, dude, you were in the same exact position as Pope. The only difference is Pope's hood stayed level. And you were like... sinking. You know?
I was tripping.
She was tripping.
This felt really good. Today was awesome with the Interact. That was really fun. So, what's your favorite gear?
So mine, I do this one, and because this is our first time ever doing this and kind of going over our favorite stuff. Because it's not new, but it is new to a lot of people. If you have never heard of CaRobotor, I've never gotten.
I was just talking about getting this for our JL.
So awesome. I pulled up the video for you. We'll look at that one too, because that one is just ridiculously cool looking.
That one looks like it's from the future. I mean, it is amazing.
I want a JL just so that I can get that one for my
Yeah.
But yeah, so I bought this a couple years ago. Admittedly, it wasn't $1,700 at the time. But this is the whole kit. This comes with the radio that I now have, as well as the camera. And I actually just found out they just started offering.
Oh, does it have the front camera too?
That's what they just started offering. It's a $200 package. It's all 4 cameras and it plugs directly into your existing radio.
Whoa, did you say 4 cameras?
Yeah, so it's all 4 cameras and then a top-down view on your.
Like 4 cameras where? What's 4 so rear, front, and what else?
And sides.
No, and the sides.
So you get a top. So basically, let me see if it has.
Oh my gosh, dude! This just became like number one on my Christmas list right now.
Silly. It's so silly on one level, but it's so awesome on another. Yeah, here he goes. This is the 360 surround.
What?
So then you get this situation
No,
where you have
that's
the
exactly
top-down
what we
view
need.
of the Jeep.
That he wouldn't have rolled today.
I wouldn't have rolled today if I had
He would
that.
have not realized, if he would have been able to see what was on the side of him, he would have never.
Or on the front of me.
Oh,
and I'm
man.
a solo wheeler. There's a lot of
You
times
have
where
to
this
have that
kind
when
of
you're a
review would
solo
be
wheeler.
amazing. Yeah. So that will now that I've gotten a diagnosis and the Jeep is coming back to me, I'm probably just going to go ahead and order that so I can install it when it comes home.
Oh my gosh!
I just
that
saw
is
this.
Sweet.
They have this other thing called a 3D view down here. I don't think they posted any pictures of it. Let me see if I can scroll through here if they got anything cool. But
I'm glad you mentioned this because I was telling Randy about this the other day. I'm like,
oh my god, look at that!
I want to get this for hologram.
That's a picture off the dash.
What?
So it's a 3D
That's what it looks
view.
like on the dashes. Nice.
Yeah, so it stitches the images together to give you a 3D picture of you in space. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Well, that would be cool to be able to see where you are on rocks. Like, dude, I would feel so good about this.
Does it have a button to take a picture?
No, I think you have to pull your camera out and take a picture of the dash.
Like, if I can have my Jeep just take pictures while I'm in it and not have to get out.
I feel like we could email them and ask them if that's just a feature that they can add.
Dude, it's $199.
That is incredible. Well, the whole system is a little bit more. It's like what the whole system.
So, as full disclosure, if you want to do that, you're going to have to get the K1, or the dash. So for me, that's the J Pro JK dash, but they do have one for the JLs and JTs.
Yeah.
They have a whole kit that includes the backup cam and some vent lights, which aren't as important to me. You do have to cut your dash for the JK. Just if you're listening and you want this.
Did you install this yourself? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I did. I actually took a video of it, and someday I will post it. Because when I did the radio, that was the one I really recorded. I wasn't really doing this when I got the dash. But it's my favorite thing to have. Like, it's a really nice... let's see if I can share this tab instead. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong
one. It looks
one.
like the future.
Yeah, so this one is the Jeep Gladiator one, and this is
and your camera's on the
screen
dash, not on there. It's like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and and it has like different themes, and so when you hit the off-road mode, your gauges on your dash match.
Yeah, your timing was excellent. Great job there. Good, well done, Pope. Yeah, so it's got mud mode and snow modes, and so also pro tip: if you have one of these. There's a guy, Evil JK. He's out of Australia, of all places, and he has cracked these open and can update and change the color of your dash. Change the color of your Jeep so that it shows. I got a yellow Jeep, so he changed my Jeep to a yellow one in the dash. I changed some of the gauge colors and things like that. It's really really cool. I'm pretty sure he's done it for these two. He's done some really cool stuff with the remote start.
Clearly, you're not sponsored by them, right?
No, I honestly, I paid full price for all this shit.
Yeah,
they'd be so mad at your telling people.
And I will actually tell you, I really hate their customer service. It is really
that's too bad.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's one of those things where I wish it was better. It isn't. So,
how hard was it to install on your JK? Obviously, you had to cut the dash.
You cut the dash, but it's a Dremel, and you're cutting down an existing line, so you don't have to do anything special.
Was it a pain in the ass to keep track of all the wires and stuff, or was no?
It's all labeled pretty well, and if you don't, if you just kind of take your time. Like I took a day. I think I took 2 days actually. I took one day to just take everything apart and just kind of leave it, and then came back to it the next day, so I wasn't tired or anything. But yeah, it wasn't too difficult, and I would, anybody can do it. Honestly, my wife probably could have done it if I gave her enough time. It's really simple. They've made it as simple as possible, probably because they know their customer service is hard to work with.
Well, I've seen it. I follow a guy his name is Los Angeles Jeep.
Okay,
we're friends on Instagram and we talk to each other, and he has this in his Jeep, and it was the first thing that I saw that I'm like, dude, if my Jeep would be sick if I had. I have like lots of cool stuff, but this is something that I look at and I'm like, I need that for my Jeep to be as cool as I want it, Well,
and part of it for me was I didn't have gauges, so for pitch and roll. I had none of that.
Yeah.
You get that with this dash as well for the JK, so which that's not something they have native to that thing. I think Jeep kind of looked at them and took a lot of cues from them as to what people were liking in that. But that if you have a JK and you want to add that functionality, this is really one way to quickly do it. But it's just my favorite thing. The radio works pretty decently since it's an Android. You can install anything you want to on it. You can play movies and stuff if you want to, but honestly, it's a little bit laggy for that. You're better off with. I put Spotify on there and I play that app natively. It's fantastic. So,
and I know that they support CarPlay and Android Auto, or however they call
wired
it.
Only,
version.
yeah, wired only.
Yeah, wired only. Yeah.
I know because I had that discussion with them about it. But yeah,
Does it play
really
with
great.
Onyx? Or well, I guess you don't know that.
What'd you say?
Yeah. He uses Trails Off-Road.
He does use Trails Off-Road.
She's asking if it works with Onyx.
Or Trails Off-Road, any of the...
It would work with anybody, any app. So Trails Off-Road works on that. I do know, I've tried it out on there. The Trails Off-Road app works on there, and Onyx does work on there too. So yeah, you can install anything on there. And the Gaia, I use Gaia. I actually record all of my tracks for Trails Off-Road on Gaia on my dash like that. So it's nice to. I've reduced a lot of the electronics that I carry around for me while I'm driving.
We kind of have like a big iPad or a big Android
I used to have a media
tablet
bar
on your desk. Yeah.
Yep.
Right on your
I had
dash.
a media bar, and I just this was nice. It took a lot of the extra crap out of my dash.
That's awesome.
So, well, now I replaced it with drone, controls and all kinds of crazy crap that I probably shouldn't have in front of my thing. So, all right. So yeah, I will always promote the K1 and the CaRobotor Dash because I just think that they're awesome.
Do you know how to pronounce it officially?
Nope. I've in that same vein of not being able to get a hold of customer service in a really decent way, I didn't really want to get into them about how they pronounce their business name. So it's I'll put it in the show notes, but it is CaRobotor, maybe is what they're going for.
Yeah.
CaRobot. So CaRobotor. And
CaRobotor.
Yeah, something along those lines. They could do with just a little bit of promotion, just a little bit.
I think the CA part is Canada. And then Roboter is the other part of it because it's based on Android.
They ship from China, and sometimes it sounds like I'm talking to somebody from China. I can't tell. So, but I've never had anybody say that they had a terrible experience with it overall. Once it got installed, I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. And I found out that the newer versions for the JK are actually easier to transfer from your old dash to your new one because there's a mileage thing that has to happen. So. The other thing that I was going to talk about is, and again, I don't have any sponsorship with these guys. They paid full price for all their stuff.
Oh, our enemy.
Our enemy does. You work with Easy Flate, right?
Yeah, actually, Thor's Lightning and Easy Flate are friends with one another.
Yeah, they're totally great.
Yeah. I mean, they're all in this. They're all in this business together. Yeah. So
they're in this business
anybody
together. We were actually at an event in Sand Hollow for Easy Flate, and the owner of Thor's Lightning came and hung out with us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's an awesome guy. Yeah, he lives here in Denver.
We were just kidding.
They're not enemies. We're frenemies.
Frenemies. There you go. Like, we could all it's like the Onyx.
There's enough people who need to air up their tires to go around.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I love these guys. They're local here in Denver. What I will say about these is I am not a huge fan of the chucks that they put on here. It usually requires two hands to get them on there, and I really would prefer something that's a little bit easier because I'm getting old and it's usually cold when I'm putting these things on. So
Easy Flate's new air chucks are awesome.
Yeah,
I did. I saw those. They've got the push button ones, right?
Well, they're easier to use. They work with the Apex valves too.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if these ones work with the Apex or if they've made a new chuck now.
That's something else I would like to do when I have to get my tires redone, and I might be going to 37s. We'll see.
Oh man, you don't even know what you're missing.
I do know what I'm missing. I thought I couldn't really go there without having more damage, and I've talked to my mechanic now, and he's like, "No, you probably be okay for how you wheel, but you do need skid plates." He kept coming back to that. So,
that's one thing that people comment on. Like even today, I posted a video. Randy and I both doing the same wheelie obstacle in the maze, and they saw our factory skid plates, and this guy's like, "You guys are both running factory skid plates?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I mean,
we're working on that.
You get there, everything's a step process, and honestly, the factory skids are not terrible. They're just not as beefy as some of the aftermarket stuff.
That's why I run 42, so I don't need skid plates.
I mean, if you're up over everything, then you're not going to need anything.
Yeah. So all of these systems, what I like about them, and I'm sure Thor's Lightning, they have a really nice manifold there. It's that's one of their new products. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
All these systems, they air up all 4 of your tires at the same time, and they will automatically equalize. Like, so you're pumping up your tire, and you're looking at one tire, and you're looking at the air pressure, or you're looking at your TPMS sensors. Even if they're kind of uneven after you kind of air up, if you let it sit there for a few minutes, everything will eventually kind of equalize out. It automatically fills them all to the same.
And we as a community, guys, we put our tires through a lot. We air them down, and we crawl them over rocks, and we throw them through dirt.
You spend a lot of time airing down your tire. Like, if you went over to your tire with, like, let's say you have just one of those hand things that you can put up, you can hook up to the valve, and then you pull the trigger and it airs out, right?
Yeah.
That's going to take you like 10 minutes of tire. You're going to get bored in the middle of it. It might take 5 minutes. Let's say it takes 5 minutes and not 10, right? That's still 20 minutes of airing. You got to sit there and be all hunched over. I'm old. I don't want to be hunched over.
Yeah,
a whole system like this one is going to make that time for airing down and airing up like 7 minutes.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. Yeah.
Like,
you add a power tank to that. Oh my God.
Yeah. You could put a power tank on this, and you're airing up in a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I remember
that's the dream setup. What'd you say, Randy?
Well, I remember on our first podcast, you were saying, like, what's the first thing that you should get? And really, honestly, like, if you want to get something so that you're not like, you're going to air up and air down, there is one piece of equipment that you're going to use every single time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True story.
If you want to get something so that you're not the person that's like, hey, can you help me air up, or like whatever. If you want to get one thing that if you're going to start doing any off-roading, it's going to be your air up and air down system. You could like have nothing else. Everybody else will take care of you.
And even if you buy like if you don't buy like Thor's Lightning's air compressor or Easy Flate's air compressor, which they're pretty similar to one another,
some amazing air compressors.
Amazing air compressors.
Better than my ARB twin.
They are better than my ARB twin. They are faster than my ARB twin. I have
because that was an expensive pump.
Yeah.
Well, with Easy Flate, like the cool thing with my Moab auto air, I just set on the dial what I want, and I walk over and I talk to all my friends, and then I'm like, oh, I think it turned off.
Yeah.
Like, it's so great.
But you need an air compressor. But even if you just bought the $50 Smitty built one from AutoZone or wherever you find the cheap ones, right?
Well, if you want to start out small.
Or just start out small, even if you're not sure you're really into this, right? Start out small. If you add this hose to that, suddenly the whole process is way less painful, takes a lot less time. And like, at a minimum, I would say you get yourself one of these hose sets for sure.
Yeah, and these hose sets, I looked up trying to build one myself, and I suck at that kind of stuff, and B, the cost was nominal. I mean, these guys are putting this together. They're selling it for $215 for their kit. I doubt that you're going to be able, unless you have some sort of connections in those industries to get all those parts and put them together, that your time, effort, and energy to put it together, just buy the system.
Yeah, we bought 3 sets of Easy Flate and a hose before we started working with them.
Nice, yeah.
And 3 sets of hoses and an air compressor. I mean, but we really, they're a local company to us, just like Thor's Lightning is local to you.
Yeah.
And they live down the street.
They're down the street from us, right? And one of their representatives came out with us on our trail today with us, and we participated in our event this weekend, and it was a great. They're great for the community. Thor's Lightning is great for the community too. They're great companies. They're small businesses. If you have a small business like this in your area, support them.
Yeah.
And if you don't, buy one of these brands. Buy Thor's Lightning. Buy Easy Flate. But I have to tell you, we do work with Easy Flate, so we are. But
you're
we're
biased.
not like
You say biased. There you go.
We're biased.
We're biased because they're so cute and we love them.
I really like that. That's Randy's level of how she deals with different companies. They're so cute. I love them.
Well, you know what?
That's like
I know exactly.
Relationship, like if it's a product that works and it works well, and we're willing to purchase it full price, no issues.
Yeah,
and they are good human beings that you are salt of the earth, and they're just trying to make a living, like small business style. I would rather work like there could be some big club, like crazy business that's huge and like has an air compressor that is equal to Easy Flate. I'm going to pick Easy Flate over anybody else because they're rad and they're good human beings.
And they're in our community.
I know them and I genuinely like them and I like their products. So why not support them?
And I think that's, and we talked a little bit about that with Ben, and especially in the last couple of years, it seems like everybody's really trying to make an effort to stay with, people trying to make a living local and within your own communities and with the 4x4 community especially. And that's awesome. That's fantastic because there's so long that I felt like I had to buy crap off of Amazon because I couldn't find it from people local here. And it's nice to kind of see that tide changing.
Yeah, it's great that way. And like always, you should always support your local businesses if you have the opportunity to.
Yep. And I don't know if these guys are local or not. Unfortunately, this is Red Ruby Jeep's pick. He got a Wolfbox this year, and so as far as I would tell you that if you have a car, you should have a dash cam these days. It would have saved me about 1.5 years of litigation when somebody hit me on the highway a few years ago. If I just had that video proof, like, dude, this dude just slammed back into the back of me. Like I didn't do anything to him. And a lot of these things have, front and back cameras. And so I think this one has a good front and back camera. I have a dash cam like this to record, front and behind me. And it's completely separate from, all the stuff that I normally do in terms of, GoPros and the rest of it. I just want this to be recording that all the time. It can give you a different perspective. I think this particular one has the ability, you can kind of see your front and behind you. So if you don't have like that 360 view that we were talking about for the K1 I'm not going to say the company name again and butcher it. But this is kind of an inexpensive way to get a front and rear view behind, at least behind you, if you want to get something off your taillight. So that's any one of these dash systems I would actually recommend to. I had a picture. I don't know what the hell I did with it, but I had a picture of my Jeep that just got destroyed. My mom had given me a car. She thought I really wanted a Jeep, so she gave me an old Jeep Liberty when she passed away, and I'm like, that's not what I meant.
Sorry.
So I loved my mom. She was here we go. Let's see, I can share this tab instead. There we go. That's it. That's
no.
That was a harsh day, and it would have been. I mean, this was the Jeep that hit me.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
plastic bumper, man. You gotta get rid of that.
Yeah, he was driving stock down the highway. He was a freaking idiot. He never got off his phone. I can say all this shit now because we're done litigating. Right. But yeah, if I'd had a dash cam, I could have avoided a whole lot of that. And it's just a good thing to have. Just if you're driving any kind of a car. My wife had an accident recently, and I wish she'd had a dash cam.
Well, if you consider that Jason is a public safety officer, a police officer in New York, and he thinks it's a good idea, it's probably a really good idea.
I mean, seriously. I mean, seriously, I don't have anything to follow it up with. You got a police officer telling you it'd be a good idea to have a dash cam. So, and I saw his videos from Hunter Mountain. It seemed like this really kind of helped get an idea for him. He had a long train of people in front of behind him, keep good pacing. So, yeah. That's those are the things that I had. You want to talk about the double throwdowns too?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the double throwdown, or even just coilovers. So the double throwdown setup on my Jeep is by Evo. and I paid full price for it. I did not get a deal, not from the shop, not from Evo, not from King Shocks. This setup is kind of next level in terms of like building like a pre-runner or like a race Jeep type build.
Okay.
The shop that I work with, they have a similar setup with the same shocks on their race Jeep that they race at King of the Hammers.
Okay.
And so this double throwdown, Mischief Maker runs it. This runs this one actually on her Jeep. And actually, I think she might have a different mount, but yeah, she runs the King Double Throwdown on hers with the triple bypasses, and then she's got coilovers in the back, and that's how my Jeep's set up now with the JL version of it. And one of the main benefits is that it's optimized for speed. Like you could be driving on a road with a bunch of whoops and a bunch of things like that, and then. Or like a washboard road, for example.
Let's talk about washboards. I think that's what most of the folks listening are going to be encountering.
Yeah, like if you're encountering washboards, like this in Sand Hollow, they actually have these weird ones that somehow the side-by-sides have made by being in two-wheel drive that flip your Jeep from side to side. And Randy keeps telling me not to use my hands on there, but now that she knows what's on YouTube, I use my hands again.
Wow. Don't try to describe something like I was up here like this and then like this and then like this. I'm like, nobody can see you.
No, you're right. And I actually made a note to that myself. I was listening to the show and it's like we need to be better at describing what it is that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because it's
the double throwdown is a mount setup with a triple bypass shock and a coilover with a reservoir, and
it's ridiculous.
And it's like
for even premiering this, like I
don't like. Well, it's really funny is that Randy and I were both talking about this, and like, don't ask me how the double throwdown works. I'm not a Carfax. I don't know any of this.
Exactly.
But it's made it really nice for him.
That's awesome. So one of the things that it is good for is jumping. And it can take a crash landing and you feel like you didn't leave the ground.
Yeah, like you saw that the one video we were talking about a couple episodes ago where you kind of hit that one speed. You could see it.
Yeah, and so I jumped in over a few dunes with it in Sand Hollow.
That's fun.
I did the on a road that's normally not a jump road that you drive over at 45, you get over that nice and smooth, and if you're going 75, you become airborne for 50 feet. This is this made it feel like a cushion when the front end, you didn't even know that either side landed, and you get a lot of down travel out of it, that you can actually customize your lift height from 4.5 to 6.5 however you decide you want it. Nice. And so you have this like range. That's right, 6.5. Good job, Siri.
I love it when they answer and I didn't ask them a question. Yep.
Yeah. And so, and the fact that you can do that with the King coilovers, and I think you can do that with most coilovers anyway with Fox and everything else. Yeah. The triple bypass just gives it that cushion that makes it so it can take a jump. It can take the stuff in Sand Hollow, the flopping back and forth as you feel like you're getting jerked around from side to side. My Jeep I'm not moving inside that cab. You're getting your head smashed against the wall. Or against your side passenger window or whatever, and I'm just sitting there. No, I'm fine. I feel a little bit of it, but I'm not hitting my head on my window or anything. And
and if you're listening, you just keep in mind that we're kind of talking about our favorite things as related to the builds that we make and the areas that we wheel, because Randy and Pope wheel different places than I usually do, and they don't usually wheel places that I usually do. So our needs are a little bit different. As much as I love our needs are a lot different. I don't need them. Exactly.
You don't need them.
Yeah, and we really didn't.
This is like a luxury item that I'm like, are you indulging yourself, funny? Like,
no, this is a luxury item. I describe it as a gold chain for my Jeep.
Yeah. Oh, that's what the dash is for me. I mean, let's be honest about it. I don't need the dash. It's just I love it.
It's ridiculous. Just cool, and
it's fun to have. It's nice to have. It's not that I don't need it, but I want it.
And it's a lot of shocks, and now it's like I'm out wheeling, and someone's like, "Do you have an Atlas?" And they're like, "No." And they're like, "Why do you have these badass shocks and you don't have an Atlas?"
Yeah.
But
yep.
It's
So-
There's always something.
There's always something, but that was one of my favorite. That's my favorite upgrade of this year. It was a game changer. Between that and the anti-rock, I feel like my Jeep is so stable on the trail. I don't feel like I'm tipping over unless I really do. Just happened today.
Yeah, I think you want to sleep on that and then revisit that statement next time.
That's really anticlimactic that you're talking about this. What are you showing us right now?
Oh, I just pulled up random Instagram, so
Oh.
it's just time to switch it over to something else. Actually, it's funny because the Tyree Lights guys, they sent me a bunch of lights and I got them installed right before the Jeep got picked up, so I haven't even really had a chance to get them out there and play with them. So these guys do like industrial lights, and they broke into the 4x4 arena a few years ago. I tested them out before I turned the Jeep in to get repairs, and it's just ridiculous. Like the amount of light these things throw out is ridiculous.
It's cool.
So I'm looking forward to kind of playing with that when I get them in. So, and then I guess Jason and Lily were camping this weekend, so now we know what they were doing.
Oh, hi, Jason and Lily.
I'm going to be camping.
We haven't camped
What did you
in a
say?
long time.
Oh, I know.
I said I want to go camping right now, but it's like we're getting into the time where we're going to be in hibernation mode in a minute.
Yeah, I'm glad the Jeep's getting fixed now, because at least it'll be easier for me to be patient, because I don't really want to get out on the trails right now.
Mm-hmm. Man, my poor Jeep getting fixed is going to take the shop where it's at. They'll get the motor worked out for me, unless that needs to be replaced. Then I'm like stressed about that. But aside from that, they'll get everything else that it needs to have done to it within a week or so. But then
let it sit overnight. I think the engine will probably be fine.
Yeah, the next phase of this is going to be like, okay, now I've got all this damage to resolve. What's going to happen?
Yeah, all the body work.
Yeah, the body work. So getting a new door. What's funny is I need to go get my Jeep painted anyway, because I need to get my half doors painted.
Yeah.
So I need to take my half doors over to get them painted. But now I'm like, I think I might just get the dent pounded out and nice and smooth and wrap it and call it good.
Yeah,
because I kind of scratch it a lot.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like I don't want to do paint again, because like I'm just going to scratch it. So I may as well wrap it, and I don't really want to get rid of the yellow because I like it. It's always been kind of a thing with it.
If I can't come up with a new livery for the Misfit, it'll at least be a gator colored wrap that looks the same, and other than that, but it's opened up opportunities. It made me like, oh, now that it's all scratched to shit, now I need to make it better.
So, and as a side note, because there are some things that need to be repaired in the Jeep that weren't identified earlier, but some things that were identified that don't need to be fixed. So my budget has changed, and a lot of that discussion has been about what are we going to beef up? What are you going to take this opportunity to upgrade? Because you may as well. And honestly, that's within 130,000 miles of that Jeep. Most of my upgrades, like my big ones, bumpers and stuff like that, were all opportunity moments. They're just moments where
I'm pretty sure my motor's probably going to be fine. They'll look at it. They'll let me know tomorrow.
It was upside down for 20 days or for 20 minutes. That makes a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference. And I knew it wasn't going to start when we tipped it over. I'm like, we got to get it level. And then we did like I don't know what the guy called it, but it was like a
dry start.
A dry start is what he called it.
Yeah.
And it kind of acted like a half-ass wanted to turn over, but it didn't even like really try. And
it's tired. It's tired.
And then and I'm like, well, it's probably because the spark plugs are covered in oil right now.
We just decided, we're not going to touch it. We're just going to.
No, that was probably your best bet.
Put it on a trailer, get it to like the shop.
Gem towed Misfit down the trail again. And
it's all right. We all learn things, and that's the other thing I wanted to mention to those of you listening today. Pope wheels completely differently. My wife gets freaked out sometimes when she sees things like that, and I'm like, well, that's what he does that every weekend though. Like so the chances of something like that occurring are just higher.
A lot higher.
Right, because you're trying to crawl, you're trying to stretch the limits of that Jeep, and I told that's just not how we really wheel most of the time. So that's why it feels
a lot of people, and most people will wheel where they're comfortable,
Right.
And we push ourselves out of our comfort level all the time. And but the more that you do the kinds of rock crawling that we do, like what we do is very dangerous. It looks cool on Instagram, but the reality is we're gambling out there every time we do this. Yeah. Every trail, whether it's an easy trail or a hard trail, it's a risk. You're taking a risk. Yep. It's a calculated risk.
Most people look at an obstacle and go, "This is how you should get through it safely."
Yep.
Right.
We look at it and go, "What's the hardest way to get over this stupid area?"
Yeah. Is there a way that nobody's tried before?
Mm-hmm. As people are driving around him, right? Like he's sitting there upside down while there's flat surface.
Yeah, I could have gone on the flat surface. No, I decided to go in.
He didn't look for the easy route. Like some people look at it and go, "How can I get that easy?" Yeah,
yeah. I'll have to figure out. I have to edit that video in some way, shape, or form to just highlight that Jeep that just rolls by in the flat road.
Yeah, and it's just hilarious that I'm upside down and the flat road is right next to me. I could have took that road. There's even a better path all together.
The way together around the other way.
I could have not gone that way, and I would have had fun giving it gas going up the hill, trying not to get stuck going over the hill. So, but instead, I decided to go do the crazy rock crawly way.
Oh, and what time of day did this happen, by the way?
I was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, so you at least got a few hours in before it was all blown out. So
from
you said that.
Yeah, we actually wheeled all day. We were heading over to. We finished what we intended to do. Then we had optional stuff. And so we were on our way to the optional stuff, and we took optional stuff on the way to the optional stuff.
It's fine.
And that's what got you hung up, is the extra optional.
The extra optional got me, man.
That's all right. You'll be back. Hopefully, maybe we'll get back at the same time. I'm so happy that my Jeep has come back. I can't even tell you.
Well, that means you can come to Winter 4x4.
And I should get it back by that time, and I've already informed Jen that I plan on going to that. So I don't know if she'll join me or not. I told her, like, you just get out. You don't have to. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go do the stuff that I'm going to do. So we'll see what she does. We'll see how she's feeling. All right, cool. Well, I wanted to go over and kind of talk about some of our favorite stuff, because this episode is going to air close to Black Friday and Christmas, and if people are looking for fun stuff, I don't think anybody's going to be going out and buying their partner a dash like that or a bobbed bed, but gift cards are awesome.
But if you do buy your partner a bob bed, they're going to love you forever.
Yeah, and write to us, because I would like to know who you are and potentially propose to you. So, yes, that's good stuff. All right, well, we'll wrap up here then in a couple minutes. We skipped over earlier in the show, but I do know that it airs a couple times with some placements. We got the phone number up and running, 719-408-0132. I'm really excited. Whoever I'll figure something out to give to the first person who actually leaves us a voicemail message. Maybe some sort of a miniature swag bag of some kind. I'm sure I can pull enough stuff up out here. You can catch us at the trailheadnetwork.com, the Trailhead Podcast at Gmail, and of course the Trailhead Podcast on Instagram. And then it's Gem and the Misfit. Are there underscores in that or no?
Nope.
I can't remember. No, just Gem and the Misfit.
Just
and me and my yellow JK. Randy doesn't have to promote herself. She's too awesome.
No, mine's private, and I follow the people that follow me, and like I work, and I'm a hairdresser, and so I'm standing behind the chair. I just don't look at my phone that much until I get home, and I'm always commenting on Sunday and Wednesday.
I look at my phone at every red light, man.
Oh, don't get me. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I feel like I'm going to somehow get myself in a lot of trouble if I start talking about how much screen time I spend on there. I know my iPad yelled at me that I'd spent 3.5 more hours on it this week than last. So I don't need that kind of judgment in my life.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, hey, you're the device I'm using. Don't judge me.
Yeah, don't judge me with your badges.
Yeah.
I love when mine sends me what my percentage was. I love when it's like, you've used your phone 2 hours a day, and his is like, you've used your phone 14 million years of your entire lifespan.
No, I love it, because having both of you guys at both ends of that spectrum is awesome.
It's true. Like, whatever, like whatever hours in the day, that's probably my screen time.
Yeah, and that's
I'm mad when mine is above 3 hours a day. Like that, and that means like phone calls, everything. I actually have a timer on my Instagram, and it's like if I've spent more than 30 minutes on Instagram, then I am in trouble.
I do too. I just ignore it. It's been nagging me for a year. Yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. Not now.
Yeah, exactly. You're just reminding me that I don't care. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, I want to try this. Just a quick minute to ask a couple questions. Hopefully, we can generate some future topics for this. So the question for this hot take is going to be, is it better to invest in a new vehicle or upgrade an old one for off-roading or overlanding?
Oh my gosh. That is a loaded one.
No, but you only got 60 seconds.
So on one hand, I absolutely love our JL and JT, but we've deleted most of the modern technology that Jeep's added to them. In order to make them into hardcore rock crawlers. I would probably, if I were doing this again, like if I started to build off of that platform or something like that, or maybe even an older JK would be really rad.
I wish I could go back in time and get my JK that I traded in that was fully paid off and was a wonderful Jeep, and she was my girlfriend, and I actually cried leaving the dealership while I was driving away in Gem. And I love Gem more than anything, but if I could have my 2012 JK back, like I would take that in a heartbeat and do all the things that I did to it. But I thought I wanted a modern vehicle, and I lied to myself. But I also love Gem, so I wouldn't go back.
Yep. But if I was, but that's kind of, that's my take on it. It's almost like the newer stuff is too hard to work with in terms of like, if you want, let's say you want to do an engine tune, you can't do that on anything newer than 2012 or 2014 or whatever. If you want to like do, anything like disconnect have your own version of controlling your lockers or having your own sway bars and all, you have to have extra tech to do all this stuff. The older Jeeps, they don't complain about it. Like I've got codes right now for things that my Jeep doesn't have.
You're done.
You're done.
So, and I gave you guys 2 minutes because Randi chimed in on how she felt too. So I gave you a full 2 before I hit that.
That's a good stopping point. I like it.
There you go. And so I'm in the same boat. Especially seeing I love the trucks. The trucks are great. The bobbed bed, even with the camper and everything else, is awesome. But you're right. There's so much technology that you either have to completely embrace it and just use what Jeep is giving you, or you have to completely gut these vehicles in order to get them going. Like you got to start with a sport model if you just want to start simple. And there's something to be said for that. Like if you want to get a brand new Jeep and start with the sport model, go for it. Like that's
absolutely,
you got a lot of room to grow in there. In fact, the TJ that I miss, Randi, the 2000 TJ that I had that sold that I wish I didn't, that had that. So yeah, it's I love my JK. I feel like it's got a good mix of technology and not, and it's just the JLs are nice, but especially when I was starting to look at this moment, I didn't necessarily know if I felt like I had the opportunity. I didn't feel like I wanted to get one because of the technology. So that's it. We'll talk about that another day.
And I also believe that the JK is cuter than the JL. Like the squareness of the JK is so sexy, and I miss it so much. And when you take the top off of the JL and they're not round, they're square cage, you want to cry.
Yeah.
In your soul. Like was the first time I took my top off, I went, she's so gone.
Awesome. All right. Well, cool guys. Thanks so much. That's it. I don't have anything else for today. I feel like we had a good chat, and you guys need to get some sleep because you've had a long day.
Definitely a long day.
Food and maybe a cocktail.
It might have even been an expensive day, but
let's not think about that part for right now. No. You go drink and forget about the money that might be involved with it, and just enjoy your evening and let the adrenaline get out of your system.
Yes, you got us right after a rollover. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was a fun day.
No, I feel like that's good because then when we record on Friday, then you guys will see how you feel then and see if your opinion has changed at all.
Yeah. See how mad I am. I haven't like looked at everything up close yet, and like I haven't seen any of her videos or pictures that they took while they're during the recovery.
I asked him if he wanted to see a picture, and he said he wasn't prepared yet. He wasn't.
I'm not ready yet.
Give yourself a little bit of time on that one, especially if you had that much going at the moment.
But
we never got to news, by the way, so we'll save that for everybody when they're here on Friday, and then you can read it off. Cool. So we'll have a nice large group to have a discussion about those things.
Oh, that'll be rad.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good episode. It's going to be fun, and it'll definitely be a two-parter. I feel like those girls will get a lot to talk about.
I love it.
All right. Well,
awesome.
So thanks so much, guys. And we'll stop recording here in just a minute. Thank you for joining us here at the Trailhead again. We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.